My name is John Oliver, and I play Steve the Porcupine on Wonder Park. To prepare for the role of a porcupine, what I imagined, conveniently, was that porcupines sound a lot like me. So once I kind of made that decision, that very brave decision as a performer, things just fell into place after that. So as long as you kind of put your own voice into most animals' minds, I could play any animal on Earth. Here, name an animal right now. Name one. Any animal.
Giraffe.
A giraffe. Hi, I'm a giraffe. Right? It is great. Yeah. That is a very kind insinuation that I'm a lot more professional than I am. What I do is put my bag down, take my coat off, start speaking. That's basically it. There's no kind of Laurence Olivier, la, 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 la. You know, actors make a lot of noises. That's what actors do, right? They make a lot of noises. Here's the thing. Generally, doing voiceover, you are actually making a lot of noises. The most fun stuff is finding yourself, an adult human being, kind of running on the spot, wee! It's everything. Like, if you were to show me a video of me making noises, if you were to show that video to me as a 6-year-old, I'd go, see, you can make a living doing that. It's incredibly fun. I don't warm up much, to be honest. Yeah, my voice is not so much an instrument as something. It's like a baseball bat. Others might describe Steve as a little uptight, a little bit of a killjoy. What Steve would describe himself as the heart of soul of everything working anywhere. So yeah, he's not loosey-goosey, right? He's not Captain Funtime, if that's a title that anyone truly deserves. What Steve is he's a rock, right? He provides stability, foundation for fun, right? And what's more fun at the end of the day than a solid foundation? That's what Steve would argue. I mean, you're going to have to give me a second there, because you've got to understand that Greta the boar is the manifestation of everything beautiful in this world for Steve. You might look at Greta and think, that is a pretty regular-looking boar. Steve would have to work very hard not to slap you across the face if you were to vocalize that. That's his angel. You've got to understand that. That's his walking, honking angel. If you were to ask Steve what Greta did, you'd get a very confusing response, because I'm not sure he'd be able to tell you. He'd say she floats when she doesn't. She walks, her trotters make contact with the floor like everyone else. Steve would swear blind to you that boar floated through the air on a sweet-smelling cloud. Whereas a more objective viewer would probably say almost the opposite of that is true with Greta. But to Steve, she's sheer perfection. So she basically is his muse. Like, when he's frightened, she makes him braver. Right? When she's, when she's there in any form, she makes him nervous but happier. Now, with Greta, you get a Steve who wants to be a better porcupine. He wants things to be even safer than they already are. And bear in mind, he already wants things to be maximum safe. Wonder chimps are superficially incredibly cute, right? And there's nothing that's not fun and enticing about the wonder chimps. What they become is chimpanzombies, and that is more problematic for the entire park. So you have something which on its surface is the most appealing thing in the park, the cutest, funniest, squeakiest things, and they become demons. For kids, it is the best way to interact with the world, is to employ a vivid imagination, because you want to feel as a kid that anything is possible. You want to play in your mind with what is and isn't real. And I guess the worry is that as an adult, that gets curbed, and in its saddest form, adulthood can involve very little imagination. You're just becoming someone just concerned about practicality all the time. Whereas the best thing about being a kid and being around kids is that practicality is just not really their main concern. They've got other stuff on their mind, and what other stuff there is incredible. Well, I hope it will resonate a lot with kids. I hope it will encourage them to continue to think differently and not to allow themselves to get boxed in. And I hope, perhaps even more importantly, it will encourage parents to encourage that part of their children. Because I think superficially, kids living in a fantasy world can seem frivolous, whereas in fact you could barely think of anything more important for a kid. It's just like exercising their brain and imagining anything that gets thrown at them. And that is an absolutely critical part of childhood. And so I think as parents, you want to protect that as much as you can. As a new parent now, like watching, it's rare that I'm prouder of my kid than when he's sitting in his own little world, coming up with goodness knows what. I hope kids will feel inspired. I hope parents will feel empowered to really embolden their children's imagination. And just as a moviegoer, I know I've not seen animation like this before, as spectacular as this, and it's a pretty overwhelming experience. So I'm a parent now, and I've got like a relatively demanding job, so I haven't been to a movie theatre for about 3 years. And so this was the first time I'd been inside a movie theatre for a while, and it was great. So I would recommend, even if you only see one movie every 3 years, as I have, that this is a pretty good place to start.